Let's prepare for Season 35 Crystal Chamber Solo Raid. In this guide, I will talk about historically good fire elemental squads, whether or not those Nikkes are still worth investing in, and how you may invest in them. We haven't had a fluorescent sea green Crystal Chamber yet, so we should expect a little different experience from the typical Electric Week one that we are used to. We're not going to know what the differences are, though, until the boss comes out, but we can still prepare the Nikkes that we know will still be good. Please like and subscribe. All right, let's have a look at what the previous Fire Solar Raid teams were. So we had one just recently, the Artisan Solar Raid, only a few months ago. This was when Winter Diesel and Brid had come out, two extremely valuable Nikkes for Fire Solar Raid. So let's have a look and see what was used in that Solar Raid. So it was Artisan. We know that the Artisan did not have a core. We kind of know that Crystal Mountain also doesn't have a core. He does have parts. Crystal Chamber. So we can have a look and see what the top teams have done. We might not use the same units that some of the top teams have done, and that's mainly because they'll have been able to invest far more resources into these characters. It will help with survivability. It will help pushing over damage numbers, right? For example, Absolute is a really common team where you need high investment to see any sort of payoff in, whereas you won't use the Absolute squad anywhere else. Aside from, Vesti might seem some odd play here and there, but Emma and Umfa do not really. Most people, including myself, do not have those units invested, and a lot of the time we invest in higher priority units like Heavy Arms Snow White, and realistically we could see Heavy Arms Snow White be on some of these top performing teams. Maybe not the number one team, but we're employed, we're in education, we have, we've got lives, right? So we do not have the same type of investments that some of these players have, myself included, but that does not keep you from getting a very high score. So looking at the first guy, Dawn, like I said, you see Emma and Yunfa here. I myself most likely will not invest in these units in this raid. I really want to see how the other units play out, but you can see the standard Roppy Red Hood team with Helm. We should all have this. This one with Mihara, the Miranda Mihara team. If you don't know how this team works, in my next video, I'm going to go over how this team works, how you pilot this team. The rest of the teams are fairly straightforward in piloting, but I'm going to go over piloting them as well. But this one does, this one's worth going over to show how it works. And Maxwell and Summer Rosana are all here to buff Mihara, and we're using D-Wife here to help with the burst CDR, since Miranda lacks that as that B1. So D-Wife is just sitting there looking beautiful and not really doing anything, while these four cluck along. Outside of Diesel is a very, very high priority unit. She's on the best fire elemental team right now. Our teams are probably going to look a bit different from this one, but our shotgun team could look like this. And our Alice team could look like this as well. Hopefully some of you have Fire Ray. She's extremely valuable still. She's not first or second string for Fire Week Solo Raid, but she's still a very, very valuable unit, not yet benched. Unfortunately, Asuka is not been that valuable of a Nikke to have invested in. We rarely get a core on these fire raids, and that's where she shines. So unfortunately, Asuka has been benched for the most part. And once again, with Crystal Chamber here, we're really probably not going to see Asuka either. But let's look at some other teams. I mean, we're going to start to see some patterns here. The Roppy Helm team is a pattern. The Mihara team is as well. This is basically the same team that we just looked at. So let's look at another team going down the list. This is also very similar, just about the same team again. I'm really looking to see for a different team. So this JP number 3 team is different because now we have Nikke on the shotgun team. She's a great asset in the shotgun team. So where did that land Brid? That landed Brid on the Mihara team. And Helm is on the Mihara team. And Rapi and Diesel are on a team together. Now this team, this type of squad makeup, I think is going to be something that many of us might use. Let's ignore this absolute squad for now, but I think this makeup right here is going to be really common for a lot of us. And the reason I think that Mihara and Helm are going to go together is really around Crystal Chambers mechanic, where you choose one side or the other, and the normal skill that we tend to choose is the rock skill, where he launches a rock out into the air. You can shoot it down and you avoid damage being taken to the team. But with the way that the Mihara team works, we're really not going to have the DPS to shoot that down. We also might not even have that as a mechanic that we have to deal with as well. But assuming that it is, and assuming that the boss is tuned so that it does not one-shot us, we're going to want Helm to bring our HP back up. And you will see why in my next video. If you're not familiar with the Mihara Miranda workings, you'll see how that works. The teams seem to make a lot of sense. You want to pair Alice with Grave due to that pierce and attack boost. Leader obviously makes a lot of sense. The one thing that we'll see probably differently is we should see Moran come through here, and she may replace D-Wife. I think we will not see D-Wife, unfortunately for her, unfortunately for our waifu. I think Moran will be replacing D-Wife, but I think Tove, Liter, Miranda, and Siren will definitely be the B1s. The B2s will be Crown, most likely paired with Maid Mast, Grave, of course, and Nikke, of course. It's really this final team that's going to see more variation from us than any other team. I think these first 4 are definitely indicative of what we're going to see and what we'll want to play. Should help give you an idea on how to invest with your rocks. You can look at what team has done the most damage. Of course, the Rapi Red Hood team with Winter Diesel has done the most damage. So that's definitely going to be the team. If you need ED and you need attack, that's going to be the team that you're really going to want to invest in. And of course, you invest in the B3. Because that is where you get most of your attack damage from. That will help you get this higher number. Let's have a look. I really like this Nikke guy. He tends to use older units in order to get high scores. So he's somebody I like to look to see what he's done. And we can see, yeah, he has not used the absolute squad. He tends to avoid using the latest and greatest, because if you invest in a lot of the older units, depending upon what's recently been released, the older units can still carry. It's really the limited units and the pilgrims that are the must-haves we can't skip. So Brid and Diesel could not have skipped. Heavy Arm Snow White, I mean, you could have skipped it because it goes into ordinary pool, but you really wouldn't have wanted to. You really want to stack up as many Heavy Arm Snow Whites as we can get. And that goes into half anniversary. It goes into the limited summer units. So really, if you were super duper choosy with what you wanted to spend your gems or tick or vouchers on, you know, you could literally call it a day only pulling on the limited and pilgrim banners. Yes, occasionally we get, you know, a randomly good one such as Velvet's. She fit into the best win team, but you know, those are very rare. So with this team, he's sticking Helm with Rapi Red Hood. We've got the Maxwell with Mihara here. And that's mainly because Maxwell is just going to buff Mihara. But this is a more technical team to play. This is difficult. It's moldier because you don't have the healing support. I don't, unless you've got a lot of time to spend. But like I said, we're all time's extremely valuable for all of us, right? We're employed. We're in education. We're not neats here, so many of us may or may not be able to play this team comp. But if you can, more power to you. I'll be looking to slap Helm in there if I can, but it really depends upon how difficult this boss is. But this looks like a team that many of us are going to play. But if you don't have Summer Rosana and you can't make the Miranda team with Mihara work, it's going to look a little bit different. It might end up being that this is, the Snow White team for you. It may just be Moran and Mihara and Heavy Arm Snow A. And what B2 do we have free? What other B3 support we might have? And then, of course, the shotgun team down here. That's not going to change for most of us. That's going to be a pretty standard shotgun team. So it's pretty straightforward. I think there's not much opportunity here to be creative with our teams. This has been set. We haven't gotten any new fire units since December. That's over 3 months from now. Shift Up's not even announced a new unit for this raid yet at the time of me making this video. So we reasonably can't expect, anything to have really changed here. I think it's really just where will Heavy Arm Snow White fit here. So with that said, what we like to do now is we can go to blah blah, or we can go into the game. We'll go to blah blah first because it gives us a nice bird's eye view on our units. Hey, follow me here, will you? Going to my units, we can filter for burst 3s. Those are the ones that are going to deal the most damage. Those are the ones that we want to invest in. If you're done with your burst, we're going to go to burst 3s. This is the ones that we want to invest in. This is where we get all of our damage. We're going to click this button so we get the top-down view. And then we're also going to filter by fire because it's a fire week raid. Naturally, we want to buff up our fire units. And so what we're going to do is we're going to compare, what our investments are to a team like this. And so we can easily see the highest damage team here is the Roppy Red Hood team. We know that Roppy Red Hood is the fire element unit here. So we just want to make sure, how does our Roppy Red Hood line work? She's priority number 1. She's going to be priority number 1 in most situations, but in my case, I'm very happy with my Roppy Red Hood. I'm not looking to increase her damage that much more. This is pretty satisfactory to me. So I go down the list. I go down and I see what I need more. So Drake's pretty high up on my list. But if I go down here, Drake's not one of the biggest damage comp teams. So she's a little bit low on my list, but having 77% ED, 22% attack, some ammo, it's not so bad, but let's evaluate. Let's see who else there is. So there's Mihara, great attack, great ammo. ED is really, really good. I personally would like it to be higher. She is going to be on the second highest damage team, so that makes me want to think about investing her a little bit more than, say, Drake. Especially in this case, all the damage is coming from Mihara. Similarly, in this team, all the damage is coming from Roppy Red Hood, whereas in the Drake team, we know that Nayuta deals great damage, Dorothy deals great damage, so Drake is a smaller percentage of this damage, of the 5.6 that we see here. Going down, unfortunately, we do know that Modernia is really, really fallen off. She's going to need a treasurer on all unit. I reckon we get an all unit for her. In that Alice team, there's quite a few good damage dealers here. Alice is going to be the biggest. Ray actually deals respectable damage. Grave deals respectable damage. Modernia is going to be a very small percentage. I would not want to put anything in Modernia. Now, here is a very interesting one. We have Winter Diesel at 22% ED, 31% attack. That stands to be greatly improved. It's on the third highest damage team for this Nikke fellow. And we know Ada does actually respectable damage, but everybody else here is a buffer. And we do know that Diesel is going to be contributing to the majority of this 7.2 bill. And we can see that on other teams as well, where Diesel is. Diesel with Cindy on this team. Let's scroll up a little bit. Where's Diesel on some of these other teams? Here's Diesel with Absolute. Diesel and Absolute. I don't like putting Diesel on the Absolute squad. I can tell that it's the highest damage team, but look at the investment in this Emma, this Yunfa. Really, really expensive. Max. Got places to be, things to do. I do not have a max. I'm not going to have a max Emma, and I think a lot of, and I wouldn't, yeah. So Diesel is some very low-hanging fruit to improve my damage. Ray is some low-hanging fruit as well, but again, further down the priority list, looking at the teams that she's on and the damage split that you see. So Diesel's a great candidate, and so what I then will do is I'll navigate to Diesel in the game. Let's scroll down. I can see she's really far down on the list, unfortunately. Oh, she's over here. She's a third row unit in my list, and we can have a look. So on her hat, it's a pretty decent attack line. I really mostly care with Diesel. I mostly care about attack and AD. Crit damage could be good, ammo could be good, but it's really, it's really down to the attack and the AD that boost the damage. But it does depend on the skills. But in Diesel's case, crit damage is pretty good on her, as it boosts that damage. She has sustained damage as well, but there's not too many sustained damage buffers in the game. For sustained damage, that's going to be Mihara, who we're going to really pump up there. Yeah, damage taken buff here as well. So we will mainly want ED and attack on Winter Diesel. If you get a crit damage, yeah, not bad, but ED and attack. So let's go look. So we've got an ED line, an attack line too. It's a blue line. I like that. On her glove, it's just a decent 11.11 attack line 2, but charge speed and ammo, not bad. ED on line 1 and attack line 3, a very low roll. So what this tells me is I would like to custom lock her attack and try to get ED. ED is going to be the biggest, obviously ED is going to be the biggest increase in damage, so we're definitely going for the ED on the boot. For the others, I really like the one rock rolls. I've got about 400 custom locks. What I like to use custom locks is when I get to line 3s generally, because using one rock roll, pray for that attack or ED on line 3. If you don't get it, you still can get it again on line 2 or line 1. Just because I have an attack on line 2 doesn't mean that I won't get an attack on line 2 again. I can easily get the same line 2 attack value that I have right now. And there's also a chance for one of these to be blue or black as well. So while this looks good, and some people might advise to custom lock here, I'm not a fan of doing that. I pray to RNGesus every day. I really, really recommend rolling, because hell, you could get the blue or black. You can get it again. Gamba, man. It's in the name of the game. It's in the name of the game. Let's go Gamba. So my second choice would be to work here, try to get a line 3 attack or ED, custom lock and go for the other one elsewhere. This one is a bit tough. I could custom lock it and pray that, the line 1 turns to an ED or line 3 ED. I could do that because I really like, this is a great blue roll. It's one away from the 14 black roll, so it's not that much of a damage difference. And then there's one line rolls here. So ideally, I think I would work my way back from the boot, hoping for an ED. Here, hoping for an ED attack, depending upon what else I get. Custom lock and roll. Similarly, I might custom lock this. It depends. So it depends upon how lucky I get here. Depends upon how lucky I get here, and that will determine whether or not that I'd want to custom lock here. And then visiting this last, it's only because this is a pretty decent attack online, a pretty decent ED online one. It does not make me really want to go spend that much more, because the attack could just be a 6, it could be a 9, really good, but I think this is the lowest priority, but I'm still gonna roll on it. I will. Something interesting about Crystal Chamber is previously we know when we had to face him with our electric squads, he did like to target the highest attack with a powerful damage. It could be blocked, it could be covered, so it's something to be mindful of. We don't have many characters here that are going to be working with low HP like we had with Scarlet previously for Crystal Chamber, so I'm not terribly worried that this boss is going to be all that difficult. I think it's going to be a bit technical. We're going to have to choose between 2 different skills. We're going to have to be able to shoot down his crystally dildos. We're going to have to we're gonna have to do a few mechanics or two. So I think it'll be interesting. We'll see how it pans out. And the next thing is to make sure that we have the materials or the consumables to upgrade the Nikkes that we need to as well. So if you're like me, have you been saving rocks since your last solo raid? If you've been good, you have, and you should have something like 69. Hopefully, because this is no additional purchases on rocks. This is purely from saving from the last solo raid. And that's what I recommend doing for every solo raid. So you'll be able to invest your rocks a little bit wisely now. If you've got 69, you can go for go work on diesel if you need to work on diesel, work on Rapipi if you need to work on Rapi. The other thing is dolls. You definitely want to work on your dolls, and it's the same priority stream. You want to work on the dolls for the highest damage dealing Nikkes. So hopefully you've been doing that as well. In my case, going here, I can see most of the dolls are done on my highest damage dealers. I'm gonna save my doll mats and not put them on Modernia, especially because I feel that machine gun is one of the lower value units to up with dolls. Well, it does depend. Mihar's great, Rapipi is great, but a pure shooter like Modernia basically mostly just gives you, it doesn't give you as much as you'd like, but I'm happy with Ray's doll. So I have a lot of scope for dolls myself because I am a Semirosana enjoyer. It might be Semirosana who's going to get the doll here. Let's see what burst 2s I have. Whoops. So let's see what burst 2s I have for doll. It's not going to be Naga. It's not going to be Maid Anchor. We don't really use her much in solo raid. It's not going to be Blanc. She doesn't scale with any doll material. Obviously not Helm. And Brid's already done. Brid would be a fantastic if you have a supporter that you want to do with dolls. Brid has huge scaling on her burst. 66.52% of caster's attack. Not bad at all. I did my Bunny Aid. I don't think that we'll see Bunny Aid on this boss, but we might. It really depends upon she could be a 5th string, but I don't really see it. Actually, you know what? If you don't have Semirosana, Bunny Aid could actually be a B2 here. She could. Or if you've already invested in Yufa and Emma, for example, you don't need Emma to make Yufa workable, but if you invested in Yufa already, perhaps that would be the one that you would do. I would advise against it. Leave her at an SR5 doll, but that could be the burst 2 that you use if you don't have Semirosana. But for me, I might finish off my Semirosana's doll here, just because that may actually be the last doll for me to do for all 5 of my solo raid teams. So in the next video, let's go over how to pilot the fire squads. Thanks for watching.